Never trust the price you see on a cruise brochure, because what's not printed in bold could wreck your wallet before you even set sail. One wrong assumption, and you could get stuck paying hundreds in hidden fees or worse, booted off the ship at the next port. Ready to find out what they hope you never discover? Cruise lines love to show you blue water, endless buffets, and smiling crew members. But behind the scenes, there are secrets they don't exactly advertise. In this video, we're exposing 12 cruise line tricks and tactics most passengers never see coming. From sneaky surcharges to surveillance-level tracking and loyalty perks that aren't as rewarding as they sound, we're pulling back the curtain on the stuff insiders whisper about but never confirm. Whether it's your first cruise or your 15th, these hidden truths could save you time, money, and a whole lot of stress. It always starts the same way. You find a cruise online, $499 for a 7-night sailing? Sounds like a dream. You book it instantly, picturing cocktails, shows, and ocean breezes. But then, the final bill arrives. Suddenly, that deal has ballooned to $814. You scroll through the charges, confused. Port fees, fuel surcharges, prepaid gratuities, and a hospitality tax you don't remember agreeing to. The fare looked cheap until the fine print hit back hard. Here's the reality cruise lines never advertise. That flashy base fare only covers part of your trip. It doesn't include the government taxes at each port, the daily gratuities automatically charged per guest, or those mysterious fuel adjustments that fluctuate depending on the ship's route and oil market. And if you're cruising with family, multiply those fees by every single person in your cabin. Suddenly, that $499 cruise is pushing $1,000 before you've even bought a drink or stepped on board. These hidden fees are built into the cruise business model. The cruise lines advertise the lowest price possible to get your attention, then quietly add layers of charges during the booking process. And unless you scrutinize every step, you'll probably miss them until it's too late to back out. So what's the fix? Always click through the booking page until the final summary, even if you're just browsing. Look for the words taxes and fees included, and if they're not clearly spelled out, assume there's a nasty surprise coming. Also, check if gratuities are auto-applied or can be paid on board. Some cruisers prepay to lock in the rate before they rise. And trust us, you'll want to keep that extra cash, because the next secret, it reveals how even your stateroom might not be what you think you booked. Imagine boarding the ship, keycard in hand, heart pounding with excitement. You find your stateroom, swipe the card, and the door is already unlocked. Inside, a couple is unpacking. You both freeze, confused. Turns out you were both assigned the same cabin, and now it's a scramble at guest services to figure out who stays and who gets bumped. Spoiler alert, it might not be you. It's a secret most cruisers never hear about. Cruise lines occasionally double-book cabins. It's not common, but it does happen, especially when last-minute cancellations or system errors throw off internal rosters. Sometimes it's a glitch. Other times it's an intentional overbooking strategy, similar to airlines, where they gamble on a certain percentage of passengers not showing up. But when everyone does show up, someone gets downgraded, delayed, or reassigned on the spot. Now the consequences can range from mildly annoying to downright infuriating. You might lose your balcony room and end up in an interior cabin, or worse, get split from your travel group. And while the cruise line will offer you comparable accommodations, that term is flexible and rarely in your favor. You could even get offered onboard credit in exchange for moving, but it's often not worth the downgrade. So how do you protect yourself? Call the cruise line directly 48 hours before departure to confirm your cabin assignment is locked. Ask for it in writing or check the reservation online. If something feels off at check-in, speak up immediately. Don't wait until you're on board. And here's a pro tip. Taking a photo of your booking confirmation, including the cabin number, gives you backup if a dispute arises. But speaking of tricky promises, let's talk about something that sounds great on paper, but has fine print that bites hard. Wait until you hear the truth behind the unlimited drink package. A man struts up to the bar with a grin, flashes his cruise card and says, "One top-shelf margarita, please. It's all included." The bartender smiles politely, then rings up a $12 upcharge. The guest's jaw drops. "But I have the drink package." The bartender just shrugs. "This one's not covered, sir." And just like that, the unlimited package isn't so unlimited after all. Here's the dirty secret about cruise drink packages. They come with fine print that most people never read. Sure, the marketing says unlimited drinks, but in reality, that's capped by dollar limits, daily limits, or exclusions you won't find unless you dig. Some packages only cover drinks up to $10 or $12. Order something pricier, and the difference gets charged to your account. Want a fresh squeezed juice or specialty coffee? Often not included. Bottled water? Sometimes extra. And don't even think about sharing your package. That's a violation that can get it revoked. It gets worse. Some cruise lines quietly charge a daily gratuity on top of the drink package, even if you never use it. Others count each soda or mocktail toward your daily limit, which might be 15 drinks, even if they're non-alcoholic. And that free package you scored during a promo, you're still paying taxes and tips on it. Sneaky, right? So what's the smart move? Read the drink package terms before you buy. Look at the max dollar value per drink, what categories are excluded, and whether you're automatically charged for gratuities. If you're not a heavy drinker, consider skipping the package and paying as you go. You might spend less overall. And speaking of spending smart, the next secret reveals how cruise lines double the price of one of the most popular experiences and how to outsmart them completely. A family of 4 books a snorkeling trip through the cruise line, $119 per person. They think it's seamless, safe, and worth it. But when they arrive at the dock, they realize the same exact tour, same boat, same guide, is being sold directly by the operator for $55. That's less than half the price. They just got played. Cruise lines push shore excursions hard, and for good reason. They make a fortune off them. In many cases, the cruise company partners with local vendors, slaps their branding on a generic tour, and charges passengers double or even triple the local rate. You're not paying for a better experience, just the convenience of booking it on board. And here's the kicker. The cruise line still takes a cut from the vendor, even after overcharging you. The consequences, you're losing hundreds of dollars per port, especially if you're cruising as a couple or with a family. Multiply that by 3 or 4 destinations, and suddenly you've spent more on tours than your actual cruise fare. And let's not forget, many of these excursions pack you into massive groups, leave no room for spontaneity, and sometimes even get canceled last minute if there aren't enough signups. So what's the smarter move? Research excursions independently. Sites like Viator, Get Your Guide, or even local tourism websites offer the exact same, or better, tours with verified reviews and full refund policies. Just make sure they guarantee a return to the ship on time. Many reputable operators build in extra buffer hours and even offer insurance if you miss boarding due to delays. But before you go planning your dream port day, you should know there's another trap, one that starts the second you connect to the ship's Wi-Fi. A teen connects to the ship's Wi-Fi to check Instagram, and before they know it, the whole family's racked up a $97 data charge in one afternoon. Why? Because someone forgot to log out. And cruise Wi-Fi doesn't stop just because you put your phone down. Welcome to the internet trap at sea. Cruise lines know how addicted we are to being connected, so they price their Wi-Fi plans like they're made of gold. You'll see packages called Basic, Premium, or Streaming with sky-high daily rates, sometimes $20 to $30 per person, per day. But here's the part they hope you miss. Even after paying, speeds are often slower than dial-up, streaming barely works, and if you don't log out properly, you're still being charged. And worse, some cruise Wi-Fi plans are device-specific. That means if you buy one plan and try to switch from your phone to your laptop, it either boots you out, charges again, or flat out doesn't work unless you upgrade. Forget streaming Netflix. You might not even be able to check your email without constant buffering. All that for the price of a small hotel room. The fix? Don't buy the plan immediately. Wait until you actually need it, then look at the packages closely. Some ships offer discounts mid-cruise or hourly bundles that are way cheaper. Better yet, use free Wi-Fi when in port. Coffee shops and restaurants often provide fast internet if you grab a drink or snack. And always log out completely when you're done. Now that you're connected, you should know cruise lines are tracking more than just your web activity. Let's dive into the creepy world of onboard surveillance. A couple argues quietly near the buffet, thinking they're out of earshot. 20 minutes later, a crew member approaches the husband with a gentle reminder about onboard conduct. He's stunned. How did they even know? The answer: cameras everywhere. Most passengers don't realize this. Modern cruise ships are loaded with surveillance technology, more than most 5-star hotels. High-resolution security cameras monitor every hallway, elevator, lounge, bar, and pool area. Your cruise card logs your every entry and purchase. Facial recognition systems track who's on board and who's not. Even your room key activity is recorded. Think Big Brother, but floating. Why does this matter to you? Because while surveillance helps with safety and theft prevention, it also means your privacy is practically non-existent. Arguing with a partner, sneaking into a restricted area, even trying to save extra pool chairs, it's all recorded. And if you cross a line, even unintentionally, you could be flagged or even reported to ship security. Some passengers have been called in over behavior they didn't even realize was suspicious. So here's what to do. Assume you're on camera at all times. Be respectful. stay within designated zones, and treat crew with the same courtesy you'd want recorded on video. If a misunderstanding does happen, calmly ask to review the incident at guest services. They log everything, and while the ship is watching you, it's also tempting you, especially when it comes to something you touch every single day. Next up, the secret psychology behind your cruise card. It starts off innocent. You tap your cruise card for a souvenir photo, then a drink, then a spa treatment. By the end of the week, you've just tapped your way into a $1,400 bill, and you didn't even see it coming. That little plastic card, it's not just a room key, it's a mind game. Cruise lines are masters of behavioral psychology, and your cruise card is one of their sharpest tools. Why? Because it separates you from the feeling of actually spending money. There's no handing over cash, no entering a PIN, not even a digital wallet prompt, just a tap over and over until you forget those taps have real consequences. It's designed to feel painless until the statement arrives. The consequences are real. Many cruisers get sticker shock at the end of their vacation when they finally check their onboard balance. Drink after drink, trinket after trinket, it adds up fast, especially when gratuities, taxes, and hidden surcharges get quietly tacked on. Cruise cards also make it dangerously easy to overspend at the casino, gift shop, or even the art auction, where impulse buys are encouraged and payment feels detached from reality. So how do you protect your wallet and your sanity? First, check your onboard balance daily at a kiosk or via the cruise line's app. Set a personal spending cap per day and stick to it. If you're traveling with kids or teens, limit their spending access through your account settings. And whenever possible, pay cash for small purchases in port to break the swipe and forget cycle. But there's one place where even cash won't help, because it's not about what you're buying. It's about what you're breathing, and it could be affecting your health more than you know. A woman wakes up with a headache and dry throat halfway through her cruise. She blames it on too many margaritas. But by day 4, her husband has a cough, and half their hallway seems to be sniffling. Turns out it's not the drinks, it's the air. Specifically the recycled, often unfiltered air pumping through parts of the ship. Here's the hidden truth. Not all cruise ship ventilation systems are created equal. While newer ships boast upgraded air filtration, even HEPA-level systems in some areas, many older vessels still rely on centralized air circulation. That means air from one cabin or hallway could be passed into others without full purification. Add in the fact that thousands of people are breathing, sneezing, and coughing in close quarters, and you've got the perfect environment for airborne germs to spread silently. This isn't just about catching a cold. Studies have shown that outbreaks of norovirus and flu-like illnesses on ships can sometimes be traced to poor air exchange in close quarters living. Even common issues like headaches, fatigue, or skin dryness can be linked to poor humidity and stale air in cabins. And if your room happens to be near smoking areas or engine exhaust vents, you might be inhaling more than just ocean breeze. So how do you protect yourself? Pack a compact travel air purifier for your cabin. There are USB-powered models that work surprisingly well. Bring saline nasal spray to stay hydrated, and consider asking guest services how your room's air is filtered. If you're sensitive to allergens or smells, request a cabin away from smoking decks or industrial zones. Now, while you might not see the air, there's something else you will see: a camera, or rather, your photo displayed in public without you even realizing it. Let's break down the next cruise secret. A man walks into the photo gallery just to browse. And there it is, his face blown up on a giant screen, mid-bite at dinner, caught completely off guard. No one told him the ship's photographers would post it. No one asked if it was okay. But there it is, for everyone to see. Smiling, chewing, frozen in time, on display like a cruise souvenir. What most passengers don't realize is that your photo can be snapped anytime by onboard photographers. Whether you're posing with the captain, entering the dining room, or just walking through a theme night, that lens is always watching. And unless you specifically opt out, those images can be publicly posted in the photo gallery, on digital walls, or even used in future cruise marketing materials. Why does this matter? Because it's not just about awkward pictures, it's about your privacy. You might not want your image shared. Maybe you're traveling privately. Maybe you're in witness protection. Maybe you just don't want to be tagged or seen by others. Either way, cruise ships don't typically ask for photo consent beyond a general waiver in your ticket terms. That means unless you make it known, you're fair game. So here's what you can do. The moment you board, visit the photo services desk and request a no photo flag on your account. Some cruise lines can even blur or block your image in public displays. And if you see a photo you dislike, you can ask for it to be removed. Most crews will respect that request immediately. But while your image might be exposed, so might your stomach, especially if you don't know this next cruise kitchen secret. A couple bites into their fresh shrimp cocktail at the buffet, it tastes fine. But later that evening, both are stuck in their cabin with upset stomachs. Was it food poisoning? Not quite, but it was something they didn't expect. Frozen seafood that had been thawed, prepped, and sitting under heat lamps for hours. Despite the lavish displays and endless trays, not everything on your cruise plate is as fresh as it looks. Cruise ships serve thousands of meals a day, and to make that happen, they rely heavily on pre-prepared, frozen, or mass-batch food. Yes, even the lobster tails, shrimp skewers, and fancy desserts. Much of it arrives frozen before the ship leaves port, and some gets reheated multiple times to meet buffet demand. The bread pudding you had at dinner? It might have been yesterday's breakfast croissants, recycled and dressed up with sauce. Why does this matter? Because old or improperly stored food can carry bacteria, cause digestive issues, or simply leave you feeling gross halfway through your dream trip. Cruise kitchens follow strict safety guidelines, but volume sometimes wins over quality. And in warm buffet environments, food can sit too long, especially during off-peak hours, leading to spoiled flavors or, worse, bacterial growth. Here's the fix. Always go for freshly made stations when possible. Opt for dishes prepared in front of you, like omelets, pasta, or carving stations. Eat earlier during meal times when the food is just being set out, and avoid anything that looks dried out, watery, or crusted over. And when in doubt, skip the seafood unless you know it's freshly cooked. Your stomach will thank you. Now, speaking of skipping things, what if the best food on the ship isn't even on the buffet? That's exactly what's coming next. A first-time cruiser loads their plate with everything in sight: pizza, pasta, mystery meat, and desserts galore. They think they've seen it all after 2 buffet trips. Meanwhile, a table over, a seasoned cruiser is quietly enjoying made-to-order steak, lobster bisque, and a gourmet dessert not found anywhere near the buffet line. What's going on? The secret? Cruise lines often hide their best meals in plain sight, but not at the buffet. Main dining rooms, specialty restaurants, and even casual grab-and-go spots like the cafe or poolside grill often offer food that's miles better in freshness, flavor, and quality. Yet many guests never explore beyond the buffet, assuming everything else costs extra or requires a reservation. That's a costly mistake, both for your taste buds and your experience. Many main dining room meals are already included in your fare and offer multi-course menus with far better service and less chaos. Even some specialty restaurants offer free lunch menus, samplers, or first-night discounts most passengers don't know about. And here's a pro tip. If you have dietary restrictions or want something off-menu, like a fruit plate, plain grilled chicken, or vegetarian entree, dining staff will often make it for you if you ask early in the cruise. So the next time you see that long buffet line, ask yourself, is it worth the wait, or is there something better just 2 decks down? Step away from the sneeze guards, head to the dining room, and you might discover your new favorite dish with no plastic tray required. But before we wrap, there's one last secret, one that cruise lines really hope you never think to question. 2 couples book the exact same cruise. Same room category, same dates, even the same port. But one pays $1,300 per person and the other pays $700. How? They both think they got a deal, but only one of them actually did. The truth? Cruise pricing is a moving target, and what you're charged depends heavily on how, when, and even where you book. Cruise lines use dynamic pricing, which means rates fluctuate constantly, sometimes changing multiple times a day. They adjust prices based on demand, time of year, location, even your browsing history. That's right. If you've been researching cruises on your device, the system may show you higher prices the next time you look. It's not just a booking, it's a bidding game. And unless you know the rules, you're playing blind. But it gets deeper. Cruise lines often offer secret deals to travel agents, previous passengers, or members of loyalty programs. Some discounts aren't advertised at all. You have to call in and ask. Even the same cabin can be priced differently depending on which booking portal you use. And if you don't check for price drops after booking, you could miss out on hundreds in savings that some lines will actually refund as onboard credit, but only if you ask. So here's your hack. Use a private browser when researching fares, and never book the first price you see. Track prices using a cruise deal site or set alerts for price drops. Book with a reputable travel agent who knows the hidden promos, and always ask about past guest discounts, regional offers, or early saver perks. And once you've booked, check your rate weekly, because if it drops, you might just score an upgrade or a fat onboard credit. Now that you've made it through all 12 secrets, you're not just cruise ready, you're cruise savvy. Thanks for sticking with us through all 12 cruise secrets. Now you know what the cruise lines hope you'll never figure out. From air quality tricks to pricing games and buffet hacks, you're officially cruising smarter than most people on board. If you learned something new today, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now. We're dropping insider cruise tips every single week, and we don't want you to miss a thing. Got your own cruise hack or story the cruise line didn't want you to know? Drop it in the comments below. We read every single one, and we might feature yours in the next video. Type cruise control in the comments if you made it to the end.